Today is Sunday, August 25th, and it is harvest day. This is your farm garden tour. All right, so this year we've kind of got ugly fruit. If you've been watching the videos, you know what's been going on this summer. I've got some photos of some other things that we've harvested, some more tomatoes yet, and some cucumbers. If you know what a milk crate looks like, we've got almost a full milk crate full of cucumbers, so we'll be doing something with those. We've sorted these kind of by their ripeness, and some of them are a little damaged, so they're going to get attended to urgently or more immediately. The cracking that you see on the tomatoes, that is partially because of watering. If they get inconsistent water, they crack. That's the primary reason. But I have noticed that there are certain varieties that crack more than others. As you're processing these, you just cut the ugly off and you throw it away. And so I know that these, are not as pretty as what you find in the grocery store, but nonetheless, we have the satisfaction of knowing that we grew these. And we know what chemicals were put on them, which is none. And yeah, we've got that satisfaction. Today, my lunch was cucumbers and tomatoes, and I'm good with that. This year, I said that I wanted to eat more fresh out of the garden. Last year, I was too focused on processing everything to really enjoy it fresh. So this year, I'm trying to change that. Got a couple big guys here, so yeah, we'll take a walk around the garden. These are yellow ones, and I'm finding if you pick them when they're about 50% ripened and then let them ripen off the vine the rest of the way, they're better looking and better tasting tomato. And on top of that, there's not pressure from critters that could be in the garden eating it. So we do have, I've seen evidence of rabbit in the garden here, and as we were picking tomatoes, we were kind of pitching them. Not all of them made it as far as I wanted them to, but pitching the ones that were bad over the fence, get them out of the garden so that they're not attracting more bugs to come into the garden and eat them up. But like I said, every time I come up and I look at the garden, my first impression is disappointment, because I know that I did not tend the garden the way it needed to be tended this year. But then I think about it and I'm like, okay, give yourself a little bit of grace. It's okay. The garden is what it is. And I thought about not really doing any more farm garden tours because of that disappointment and some frustration and sadness. But I'm like, when we started this thing, we started it to keep track of the garden for our own purposes, and we have gone back and referenced some videos from the past to see where everything's at, and how last year compares to this year, and what did we plant and when and how much. So yeah, I guess my point is, this is real, and it's not always pretty, but guess what? It's going to take care of us. Look at all the fruit that's yet to ripen out here. And we do have some blight on the tomatoes. There's a lot of foliage that's just dead and gone. That's primarily because I didn't get them tied up onto their trellises the way they needed to be, or the way I really wanted to. And so some of the foliage has died back and is not very healthy looking. In addition, some of the tomatoes laid on the ground, and that caused some issues with blossom end rot and some other things of that nature. But anyway, what you're seeing here is what's left to ripen, because I picked pretty much everything that was about 50% ripe or greater. And I'll attach those photos at the end of this video. So the cucumbers are still doing their thing and going crazy. There's one right there, but they're pretty much picked. Oh, good grief. I see another one I missed. So let's go get, I literally came through here and picked absolutely everything. No, you leave it, Duke. Everything that was big enough to warrant being picked yesterday. And here's another one. So that's how fast. No, Duke, you're not eating this. I'm not giving it to you. Here, there's 3 little ones here. You can have this one. Good boy. Go eat your cucumber. All right, so yeah, cucumbers are crazy. For as much trouble as I had getting them to take off this spring, they're going gangbusters. So that's good. We're looking up some different pickle recipes. Gonna see what we can do to preserve some of them. The beans are still going like crazy, but we've kind of moved on from the beans. We have quite a few beans that are canned from last year that are holding over quite well. We'll probably pick some of these that are still out here and viable for fresh eating, but I don't know that I'm gonna have time with the tomato processing and things to come out and do any canning of green beans, nor do we really need them. There's Duke enjoying his cucumber. What a goofball. So anyway, we'll come around here. The peas are definitely done. You probably saw that as we walked in. Down there at the end of that row, they're completely dead. You know, at some point when we're not dealing with harvesting things that are still viable, we'll yank down those vines and get rid of them. But zinnias this year have been really pretty. I actually picked a bouquet for Mom of some of the zinnias. We put zinnias in between the different potato types that we had. And, you know, just something to attract pollinators. And check out the sunflowers. They're pretty cool. I put some of those in the, too tall for me to even get them all in the same shot here. But put some of those in the bouquet I picked for Mom the other day. Sorry, fly is biting the crap out of my hand. So anyway, the potatoes, you know the story. Damn bugs. And we just kind of said, all right, que sera, sera. Troy actually got out the potato digger. Before my dad passed, he and Troy were standing out here by the garden, and Dad made mention that it might be fun to get the potato digger out. And I know Troy has been probably wanting to get the potato digger out since we started gardening. So he was like, yes! So we're going to do it. We're going to give it a shot. I got Troy next to me here. What do you want to say about the potato digger?
Well, we got it out and it works.
How old do you think that thing is? I would venture to guess
Turn of the century.
Yeah.
My guess would be late 18, early 1900s. It was an old horse-drawn one that was later converted to be pulled behind a tractor. And I think that Grandpa Ross actually used it both ways, according to your dad. So, no, yeah, your dad said something to me about let's get it out and do it. And I've been itching for the last 10 years to get that damn thing out.
So it's going to be cool, and we will definitely take video and pictures of it because
we're videoing that thing.
Yeah,
this is going to be a hoot. We're going to be shooting potatoes all over the place. We're pulling it with a four-wheeler. I'm like, there's no way potatoes are not going to be flying. We're going to have people back there with catcher's mitts.
Have a cucumber.
There you go.
I picked all the cucumbers completely clean yesterday. I know that one was not ready to pick yesterday.
No, was this one about halfway down, hanging about this high?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I saw it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
It was about half that size.
Was it?
Yeah.
I
I watered the north end last night.
Okay.
If you notice, the sprinkler is up on top of the...
Yeah, the sprinkler is draped over the beans there.
Got it staked up on top of the bean row.
So
and it literally does this whole north end now, just by itself.
South end.
The whole, or south end, sorry, yes. We can do the whole garden now with all at once. I don't have to do it half and half with that new pump.
Okay.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
So I was just talking about the potatoes, and they are what they are. And
there's a bunch there.
Yep, we did dig some yesterday. Last night for dinner we did a grill packet of different vegetables from the garden. We had turnip and potatoes and beets and some onion, and it was really, really tasty.
It really was very tasty.
And I will say that I've never really eaten turnip, and I've never really been a fan of beets, but dang, it tasted good.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you what was a turnip last night.
Yeah. So these are some more bush beans that we can harvest off of yet. Here's the turnips that we should have thinned but never did. And you know, if they're small, they're pretty tasty. Now check out these, what I believe to be shishito peppers.
And if you know them to not be, please let us know.
Yeah, if you think there's something else, let us know. But they are just going gangbusters. And I believe the shishitos need to wait. Well, you can probably eat them now. This one doesn't have anything on it. That's weird. But they turn red. And yeah, they're good looking peppers. I think what makes me most excited is that in all the years of gardening and trying to grow things like bell peppers, never really had much success with bell peppers. I'll show those to you in a minute. What are these guys?
These ones are the Thai hot.
That's Thai hot. They grow,
yeah, they grow vertical.
upside down.
I don't remember what those ones are.
I don't either. I'll have to check it out. But come take a look. Oh, these are jalapeno.
Jalapenos. Actually,
There they are.
one right there ready to pick. No one right there ready to pick. One right there. And I have, for anybody who has a aversion to green peppers because of they make you burp, whatever. In most southern dishes, I'm talking like Louisiana style dishes, I found that you can, if you just use the green part of the jalapeno, you can use it as a substitute, and I personally don't have any heartburn style effects from the jalapenos. So
Cool.
just a little, in case anybody else hates green peppers for that reason.
Now, the last time I tried to put my hand behind a bell pepper, it broke off in my hand. But can you put your hand down there so we can get an idea on how big that bell?
That's a decent size
That's a
bell,
decent
baby.
bell.
That's a stuffer.
Yep.
Another one right here, huh?
Yep.
And that one's sitting right on the ground now. That's a good. We got what, 3 on this one now?
Now, I had bought ones that were called chocolate something or other,
That's
and I
those.
think that's what these are.
They're gonna be a dark brown, light brown
And then-
stripe when they're done, when they're ready to pick.
Yeah, so they're cool looking. Cauliflower is in the house. You can't see it because these are of self-blanching variety, but look down there. Check it out. We'll get a little cauliflower head started. Yay.
Keep that baby tightened up there.
Yep. Broccoli, still going.
Got some heads started again.
Got some heads down here. We harvested cabbage. Oh, we had Brussels sprouts in last night's
Oh yeah.
vegetable packet too. There's
Yeah,
another good size broccoli.
And then this one, which we just harvested these, they are just going rampant with new heads everywhere.
Yep.
So we're gonna have broccoli going for quite a while here. I like that variety, whatever it is, we're growing more of that next year.
Yeah, there was 2. One of them was called Godzilla, I think it was.
Yep, and I think that's the one, this one.
Brussels sprouts. So I want to pick some more of these before we go home because I found that I really like them on the smaller side. So you can see over here I harvested quite a few yesterday. Just pop them right off, but there's plenty more coming. And you snap off these leaves to give those little sprouts room to grow. So got that going on. Cabbage. We had 3 megaton cabbage. All 3 were harvested yesterday because we're seeing some cracking in the cabbages this year and we didn't want to lose them. So even though I think they could have probably gone half again as big as they were, they're still freaking big. We harvested the megaton. I'll show you a picture of that. The purples look like they're finally starting to form heads. We have 2 nice little cabbages here. Celery. So the celery is wacky. We are watering it right now because in the week to 2 weeks before you harvest celery, You're supposed to water it really heavily because that's what celery is primarily, is water. So yeah, I snapped a little piece off and tasted it again, and it's good. It's very potent, almost spicy, which I kind of like. So that'll be fun to cook with. Here are the Turk's Turban. Well, this is kind of a combo of Turk's Turban and Blue Prince. So there's the Turk's Turban. He's a little on the small side. See how brilliant he is? He looks like he's got a cap. There's another one over there that's very brilliant orange. These guys are coming. They're coming along nicely. There's some bigger guys. Blue Prince is right here. In and amongst those. Those are the ones that we grew last year and absolutely loved them.
Oh, there's another one in there by that Turk's Turban.
Yep. They have a wonderful flavor. They also have a good moisture content, and you can substitute them for pumpkin if you want to make pumpkin bars or something of that nature. They are kind of a pumpkin, I guess, more than a squash, but a good all-around pumpkin squash. Anyway, these guys are brilliant. They are not ready, but they're a gorgeous color. These are the kombucha something squash. We'll give you a review on that when they're ready to harvest and eat. You can see here that our melon is growing into the squash. So this is a little bit of a hodgepodge. Actually, that is acorn squash, and there are some acorns right down there. Those guys should be good. There's a garage sale here last weekend and a couple weeks ago, and actually picked some beans. Oh, that's a good size.
That is.
Blue Prince. Actually picked some beans, picked some...
Well, and right here's an acorn that's about 2/3 of the way done right by it, so...
Picked some things from the garden, some beans, some cucumbers, and actually sold some of it. So that was kind of cool. Oh, we got butternut squash. Troy is actually picking zucchini.
This is the first time in weeks that we've had zucchini.
Yeah, the zucchini kind of went dormant for a while. And what's weird is that I don't even remember seeing blossoms last weekend when we were here. Yet you just picked 3 of them.
Yep. 4.
Crazy. Crazy. So here we have butternut squash. Oh, excuse me. And they... Did I inhale a gnat?
Probably. These are the guys that they're kind of a hybrid between a winter and a summer squash. They don't keep as well into the winter. That way you almost need to cook them and eat them, or cook them and freeze the meat almost right away, because it is a softer squash, but it's got great flavor. A lot of times if we've got the more dry squash, we'll mix these with it to add a little moisture content.
Yep. And they are kind of bell-shaped or pear-shaped. And I found that when you roast them, it helps to cut them both vertically and horizontally, because that neck that's thinner cooks faster than the bulb on the bottom. So, pro tip if you like butternut squash. Watermelon! Blacktail watermelon. Here.
So
Which one?
This one is the one that your mom has been after for a while. And what we're gonna look right here. And you see it's curly Q. It's all dried up, right? Nope, not quite. If you look right here, right at the edge, it's gonna dry way back in here. And if you thump it, still sounds not firm enough, okay? Now come over here, and this is what they really look like when they're steamed. I mean, that one is nowhere near being ready.
Yep, so the trick is the curly hue that is nearest the vine that the melon is on should be completely dried out, and that's an
Now, if you look at
indication.
this one, it still has a little bit to go, but that one is ready to pick.
Okay.
So, for those of you thumping in the store, that's really what the difference should sound like.
Look at that melon.
Oh,
That's what I'm talking about.
it makes me happy.
All right.
So our first watermelon of the year today.
First watermelon of the year today. Come back over here, we have cantaloupe. And I actually think there's one in there that might look like it's close to being ready. But this guy's kind of little. I'm having trouble with my focus.
Yeah, your mom's getting watermelon too.
But we've got, it's about 8 cantaloupe in here of various sizes, coming along nice. There is a honeydew, a single little honeydew. He's gonna be there for a while before he's ready to come out.
Did you want to pick these? I don't know on these guys when they're ready. Because they don't have a little curly cue to tell.
Let's take that one home.
This one?
Yeah.
Oh shit, there's one right here.
Yeah. We'll leave that one if Mom feels like it's ready. That's probably gonna have to sit on the counter at home for a couple days, but
Well, she's got a whole watermelon here.
yep. And
She's not gonna complain.
here's more. These guys are a little behind
These
the watermelon over here because these were transplanted from starts.
Yes.
These guys came from seed planted directly into the ground.
And see, this guy's still actually putting flower on. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, looks like maybe 6 on that plant.
And this over here is rattlesnake watermelon, which our starts didn't take in the garden. And these are over 100-day. Yeah, so I did plug some seeds in the ground, which is what you're seeing right now, but it is highly unlikely that we'll get anything to produce off of those just because they need more time. And they didn't get it. So, okay, Syrah, Syrah. Hey, is this our lemongrass?
It is our lemongrass.
Yay, we got lemongrass to survive.
Finally.
Finally.
And I think that's a perennial, isn't it?
I don't think so, unfortunately. Not in this climate. Yep. And then we've got our toothache plant. You chew on these guys, it numbs your mouth. It's fun to take some of those to family and friends and be like, hey, suck on this for a little while. I'm going to do a little research and see about drying some of that and, yeah, using it as a medicinal. So anyway, that's about it. I will tag on the cucumber photos and the additional tomato photos and attach them to this video, and appreciate you hanging out with us and checking back in on the status of the garden. I should show you real quick. The onions are coming along nicely. These are bunching onions. We're probably going to pick a handful of these. Those are Walla Walla?
I think so.
Yeah. So, yeah, onions are doing good. And here's the beets over here. Yeah, they're doing all right too. They got some time left to stay in the ground. And that's a teddy bear sunflower. He only gets to be about 3 to 4 feet tall and puts on these crazy looking flowers that are really fluffy and poofy looking. This guy here is so big, he can't even hold his head up anymore. Let's see if I can, look at that. There you go. That's a big sunflower. So, yeah, these, interestingly, I've seen more bees on these sunflowers than I have most of the other things in the garden this year, which is kind of weird because last year it seemed like the garden was a haven for bees, and this year it really hasn't seemed that way. So, hoping that the bees are able to come back. Oh, one more weird thing I want to show you. So, we have a compost bin over here. that we put, you know, if we trim vegetables out in the garden, foliage goes in there. Eggshells and things like that from the house, from breakfasts, come in here in the compost. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that things grow in here. Like there's a potato hosting a ton of potato beetles. Back here we have some sort of vine. It is a squash or a pumpkin or something of that nature. I have not seen any fruit on it yet, so I don't know exactly what it might be. But the funny part is here. I opened the garden shed, which is kind of a mess at this time of year. But check this out. It found a hole in the garden shed and is growing in and through the garden shed. And when I see things like this, I always think of that line from Jurassic Park when Jeff Goldblum's character says, "Life will find a way." Ain't it the truth? So, thanks for hanging out with us. Until next time, take care.